All right, we are live. Hello and welcome to wealthlessons.club, a podcast channel where we talk to first time entrepreneurs and learn from them their lessons from their entrepreneurial journey. So today I'm thrilled to have with me Mr. Senthil Nayagam. Senthil is a serial entrepreneur from India whose recent company, Oracle Movies, which is India's first NFT movie marketplace, caught my attention. So Senthil and I were connected on Facebook. We never got to talk each other. Somehow we got connected through some common friends. However, when I got to know this, it just caught my attention, and then I made a request to Senthil to be on my podcast to talk about his new venture and understand what is his vision behind Oracle Movies, how and why he got into NFT space and everything. Because I have not had any of my past entrepreneurs into NFTs. So Senthil agreed for that, and that's exactly why we are here talking. So Senthil, thanks again for coming to my podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, buddy.
So Senthil, before we jump into Oracle Movies, before we talk about NFTs, very curious to know about your career trajectory. Okay, how has your career trajectory been, and what all have you been doing? Maybe you can start from your education, and then we can later talk about your
Okay, so
career.
yeah, so I'm Senthil Nayagam. My dad worked in Indian Air Force. So I've lived across India. I early when I was born early, I was even Belgaum. Now it's called Belagavi now. Then we moved to Delhi for a couple of years. From Delhi, we moved to Tezpur in Assam for a couple of years. Then I did my finished my 12th in UP in Bareilly. So that's
Wow.
pretty cool. And later, for some time, I was in Jodhpur along with my father. Okay. Yeah. So any defense background thing, one is okay. You be nationalist because your opinion is very different. You lived in different parts of India. One part of it. Second part, you have peer pressure. Uh, I was born in '70s, so it comes in a different way. So you do everything what your friends are doing. That's what, right? So my friends got into IIT school. Let's do it. So in UP, we used to be there, and so I don't know. I was IIT material, not, but I also prepared. I tried an exam, write all the exams, everything. In '90s, there were not too many engineering colleges. Very few IITs. That's how that worked at that point of time. I didn't get into IIT. Maybe I didn't clear it. That's so. Let's work on that. But although I did ND and everything, I did, but maybe I didn't. Then my dad was supposed to get transferred, so he pushed me to okay, come to Madras. So this I'm talking about 94. Okay, 94. They sent me here. What would I do here? So I was doing a lot of random things here. Eventually, I was doing some computer course, whatever you can do. Okay, but I have not written an entrance locally, and at that point, TN you write a local exam, and state board had a higher priority because it's all mark driven plus entrance exam. My marks were okay for CBSE standard, but state board here every get a centum for maths. Every get 200 out of 200. There's not a 100 mark exam, right?
Hmm.
Tamil, every language they get centums and everything. So just there was no way we could compete on that. But in entrance, I did not attend. So I was considered the outsider state kind of thing, and I didn't get an option to get an engineering at that point. I had a lot of internet. I got into some computer course and everything, and I was doing a lot of random stuff. Somehow, actually, I discovered internet way back in 96, 97 period.
Right.
And it was just curious. It would cost money. Okay, somebody you are able to click one link and suddenly you're accessing something in US or some other country,
Right.
and there's the email. So everything was kind of eye opener for me. Oh, and I got fascinated. So and I said, what else should I do? So I at that point I had a as a teenager, what do you expect? I was 18 or 19 that period. So I said, okay, hey, I want to buy a bike, and I got a Yamaha RX 100. So you spend money on it, and you have to have some money to put petrol for it. Even those days,
Right.
depends on at every point, young people had problem paying for petrol, right?
Right.
Even if 10 rupees a rupee to 20 rupees, 30 rupees, at 100 rupees now, people have challenge, right? So, and this guy will drink a lot of petrol. So this is kind of a so if you have a Yamaha bike, you can't have a girlfriend. It will consume all that much resources, right? So I had to do some part-time jobs and everything. I was doing it, and I was doing a lot of stuff, and you earn money and then spend on browser. And then I said, this is not a very efficient way of doing it. Okay, so what if I can go and work in an internet center or internet cafe? So I took that risk. Eventually, I got joined internet cafe. So you got free internet all day. Other people are using 1 hour, 15 minutes, everything. In those days, I'm talking about, it will cost between 60 to 100 rupees per hour to access internet.
Okay.
And suddenly having 8 hours, 10 hours of internet access was pretty cool. Okay,
Wow.
but I
So
don't know what I was.
You
You have
working as what? An internet cafe, or you
you
started?
manage an internet cafe. You manage an internet cafe. No, I didn't
Okay,
start a cafe at that point. I managed an internet cafe.
okay,
98, 19 period. I had done a lot of odd jobs initially, but internet cafe made more sense for me.
okay,
So spending 60 rupees or 100 rupees per hour, instead you work in that part itself, right? So think
right,
about it, okay, you want to read books, and what if you can join a library, right? That you have
right,
access to all,
yeah,
right? You have unfair advantage. So I got into that part. Then you say, okay, hey, how are websites built? What technology is being? You always have access to computers. Even at that point, computers are pretty costly. 30 to 50,000 rupees, you don't have much money to afford it.
right,
There was no internet, and UPS is required. Then you have a monitor, everything, and the computer processes were improving fast.
right,
So you'll buy a 100 megahertz Pentium, right? Within 2 months, they'll say Pentium 133 come, when Pentium 166 came, then 200, 233. So it feel like every 3 months your computer will get obsolete in some sense. Okay, you're buying an older version.
right,
So being part of a center was easier, so that's what I got into. Okay.
right,
So fast forward, then 99, after Kargil war, my dad took a VRS, and he was saying, come to hometown. And I said, okay, you didn't join your engineering, your money is there. What do you want to do there? So I
mm,
said, okay, I want to start an internet center, right? This is what I have been doing, and I get free internet access, right?
right,
So that's how. And I said, where do you want to set up? So I was sitting in Madras. So Madras, you want to set up here? But I realized, okay, when I'm doing internet, it doesn't matter which state, which city, which country I'm in. It doesn't matter at all. You
right,
have internet access, you can do it anywhere.
right,
So I said, okay, Dad, my money will be less valuable in a city. Though I may get a lot of customers here, but I will. Real estate was costly, rentals, everything was higher, and I want to have more money for that. We can do it in a hometown. So dad went to my hometown in Tirunelveli. So Madras, I moved to then I became Chennai. I think we moved to Tirunelveli to hometown, and I set up an internet center. It was called Nellinet.
right,
So 5 years on a browsing center. But what I did afterwards was I had access to it. And see, you will be distracted when you get a lot of things initially, okay, but later you figure out what you can do with it, right? If you can use it for other purposes. So how was a website built? How are the servers running? Then you say, okay, Linux is there. So I had bought many computers at that point. So okay, can I do a network myself? So I upskilled myself, understand what hardwares are, how networking works, how Linux works, how to programming.
right,
So I did my first open. I got into discovered the something called open source development happens. I released my first open source code way back in 2001 or 2002. I think I did that point of time.
mm,
Uh, and I was like, you become an early adopter, not even realizing you're the early adopter, you're early adopter. Right?
mm,
So before Google, what was there? I have seen internet before Google. Okay, before I have used email from a terminal command, right?
mm,
So if you those who lived in earlier period, they used to have a VSN account. They had a TCP account, and there's also a regular UDP. So you can have a terminal access, and the terminal access you to fetch email, you to run a command, and use a message ID, type the message ID, you can fetch the mail. Then text file is downloaded, they do unencode. So that's how. Then the browser kind of came, proper browsers came in, right? So I've seen that part of it. Then I said, okay, hey, convenience factor, what challenge is happening? And once you have internet access, suddenly you don't have to depend on newspaper or magazine or anything. You have directly accessing, okay, New York Times, what is doing, what a MIT is doing. They had open courseware. Go through the courseware, what is available. Then it was okay. The content is not that great. They have a good network is there, but still the content was okay. Another part was in India, books what were available at that point of time were pretty old books.
right,
So generally, it'll be 1 or 2 generations behind that part. Technology is evolving so fast. I
right,
think once a book is published, it's kind of it's already obsolete, especially in technology part, right? So you go and find what is the source of the content, who are the authors. So at that point, internet was so small. If you can reach out to some author and message them, they will reply back.
right,
So, so in technology, but I've reached out to people who are doing those part. Okay, you experiment, you find a bug, you can go. See, contribution doesn't mean you can go and write code. Okay,
right.
hey, this doesn't work for me. Did I make a mistake, or is it a mistake
Ah,
in your code? So you can
okay,
ask them. It's a very small group, right? That's how. So I improved my skill in that part. So I was the only son. So I got married at that point of time. My parents were pushing me. Okay, okay. I realized that parents will always treat you as a kid, irrespective of age and everything. Okay, until unless you get married and you have your own kids, probably that's the system will change. So I said,
Or
okay,
sometimes even after having your own kid,
no,
parents don't
that's
change.
a different part. But still, you can take your own decisions, right?
Right,
So
right,
their influence will be there in every decision, right? So I said, okay, I need to take my own decision. That point, that's what I was pushing
mm,
for. So 2003, I got married. 2004, I had my daughter. Okay, my
mm,
daughter Sampurna was born, and the day she was born, suddenly my whole thing was okay. Hey, why am I sitting in a small city? I have knowledge,
Mm.
everything is there. But when I'm sitting in a small city, I had a CBSE education, I had all this kind of thing. See, till then, money was not even a focus for me. You
Got
want to
it.
do something cool, learn something, because I didn't go to college. So internet was always knowledge is available, right? Before we keep it up, so you can go and search and do, discover, invent things, try things. When daughter was born, suddenly, okay, maybe you need to become focus on earning some money as well. That would be a thing. Now there are 2 points. Okay, I didn't have a degree, right? Other part was I'm married, have a kid, so I had option either go back to Chennai or go somewhere else. I
Right.
said I will not go to Chennai. It's not I hate Chennai. The only part was, see, in family and friends and people actually write you off. You don't have a degree. He does not doing that part. He's a crazy one in the family. I don't know what he'll do in his life. People will actually drown you in sympathy.
Mm.
Will give lot of free advice. Okay, when you don't want it, they want to give you advice. So people try to connect you on things which will not help you at all.
But did you have a vision at that time? Were you ambitious at that time? Was future clear for you or?
No, no. See, when you are at the bottom, right, going up, right, it's easier, right? It's a kind of thing you want. Okay, I have a daughter. I have to focus. Okay, what can I do for it? Okay, maybe bigger city. So I said instead of going to Chennai, let's me go to Bangalore. The other one was Bangalore was available for me.
Okay.
I said what I can do there. Okay, I knew a lot of things. I have run a business,
Right.
even if it's an internet cafe. See, any business now, even if you run a tea stall or maybe a pan ka dukan, right, you have to open on time and you have to close on time. Simple
Right.
part. You have to pay your bills.
Right.
Rent has to be paid, internet, current, all kind of things. You become responsible. If you run any small business, you become
Mm.
responsible.
That is amazing.
Because
Yeah.
that's how the customers come in. They'll trust you, right? If you are not reliable, they will not come to you.
Right. Right.
So I've done that part. Okay, I knew hardware. I could assemble hardware. I can do networking. I could do data recovery. I could do some programming. I feel that part. I started applying for a couple of companies in Bangalore. Okay, hey, I had that part. First part, any company, large company which needed degree, I couldn't apply for it. So I had to apply for only small companies.
Right.
These are Rack Shack, which are very, very small firms. I can go apply for that. Okay.
Mm.
And I can say, so I truthfully said, okay, I'm running this browser center and have this kind of experience and I want to apply for it. Some people didn't reply for it. Okay. Then I said, okay, maybe I think internet center is a cool thing. I know I worked in an internet center.
Mm.
So they don't want to hire the founder. They want to hire, okay, now it's maybe hiring founder is okay, but I worked here. I could manage hardware networking. I could do. That was one
Oh,
skill I did. I did
oh,
another
you had
resume.
to
I
lie.
can do some internet programming.
Okay.
So I had
Okay.
two resumes. I applied for a couple of companies. I spoke to two guys. So one guy said, "You have too much knowledge. I want entry level person. You have too much knowledge." My part was not okay. Looking for a high paying job. I was saying, okay, hey, I need a footing in some place, right?
Bangalore. Yeah. Yeah.
Those who are in Chennai or in big cities, then okay. If you want to climb a bus, right, you don't get into a seat to wait for. Okay, you running for something, you go and grab, put one foot. You need to have foothold first.
Right.
Next time somebody will get down, will get inside. That's our whole plan was that. No big plan.
Okay.
Somehow get onto something. Okay, I was okay doing hardware and networking or something. I can do that part. Or so hardware guys, they two interview got rejected. Then I went to a software thing, and I
Which
said, "There,
which
what do you
which
want?"
year was this?
2004.
2004. Okay.
2003, I got married. 2004, I had a kid, and now I have to get a job.
Okay.
I can be in Tirunelveli, but the lifestyle will not be great. So potential is, see, in small cities, the potential is not huge.
Right.
I want to do something on e-commerce here. They were not even giving. Like I reached out to Citibank. Everybody, they don't want to give a said credit cards are given only to metro companies and people with this kind of jobs as employment. You are a business guy sitting in a
Mm.
second tier two. There's no ATM terminals. No, that's how talking about, right.
Right.
So that was pretty difficult at that point. I said, okay, hey, so you have to come to city to do those kind of things. So that's how I initiated. Okay. So went to a software company and said, okay, they're using a particular technology. I said, okay, in PHP there are 2,400 functions. I have used all the 2,400 functions. That's it, because I had all the time. Nah. See, other people have to go and try and everything. Okay, I had all the time in my life, so to go do everything. I've done that part. I've done. I could do this part.
Right.
People who interview me, they had lesser knowledge than me because they have learned it on the job. I have engineering. That's what important part. But
Right.
how often do you use internet? Maybe sir, once a week. I use 1 hour, 2 hours before they got a job. After
Right.
job, also they don't understand why the internet has. Now, I was like I was using internet for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. How people use internet today? I was doing it 25 years back
Right.
because I was running a browser. So I had that unfair advantage. So I got a job. So you don't want to bargain or think, hey, give me the lowest salary, you'll take it. Okay. 2 3 months, I could validate myself that I have enough skills to do it. Then I said, okay, let me go for a bigger job. That's what I did. And there solved the problem and went grow for. And at that point, I met one guy, Dinesh. He was from Chennai guy who was come to Bangalore for looking for a job. He was kind of goofy at that point, but there was something he had time to talk to me, right? So we should discuss, okay, what we can do in our life. So, and we said, okay, in US, a lot of startups are coming up in the techno space, right? What kind of ideas are working on? We can discuss ideas. And the challenge at that point was we were doing a lot of in PHP. Our team was huge, 30, 40, 50 people. We were managing teams. I've done all that part. But my challenge was, how do I come with the idea on a weekend and finish it by the weekend itself?
Mm.
Now, why is important? Okay, I'm saying, okay, uh, in my structure at that point, 2004, okay, we used to need a team of 10 people to build a website.
Right.
With an e-commerce site, we done all the kind of thing. Okay, 10% team is a lot of effort. Okay, and if you want to do a side gig, you want to do something with one or two people. You don't want a lot of people to do that because you don't have money for it.
Right.
You don't even know if it succeed or not, right?
Right.
And the weekend part was important because we are working at different timings. So I will work in one shift, you will work on a different shift. We are operating 24/7 actually.
Right.
Only weekend we could have time to discuss this part. Okay, and having a 10% team project, we're setting up itself a lot of time. I wanted to have, is there a better way of doing something? That's very important for me. I have done the PHP of doing things. Is there a better way available? First, you believe, no, it's not that. And then at that point, 2004, there's a news item came out, something called Ruby on Rails is coming, and which can solve it. So something is too good to be believed, right? You say, oh no, it's not possible. Okay, then you have a doubt. What if there's a better way of doing it?
Right.
Then you kind of try it, and you like it, then kind of you convert into it. Right? That's the whole thing which I did.
Right.
So my problem was very clear. Weekend. The weekend part is important because if I don't do this by this weekend, by next week I'm going to see a lot more websites and a lot of apps and everything. I will have one more idea.
Right.
So you come with more ideas, right? It's not okay. See, at that point in time, you can see, think of it, 10 years, 20 years back. There are not of there are very few startups in this internet space, right? Any idea could have been done.
Got it.
Okay, I was saying comparing sites and say, okay, what can we add to this app? What can we modify in existing app? And that could be your idea, which we can work on. So we had hundreds of ideas. We doing a lot of brainstorming and what we want to build over a weekend.
Right.
And that's how I discovered Ruby on Rails. Okay, so that's 2004. 2005, I was sitting, got a better job with maybe. So I've got within 1.5 years, my salary went by 10x.
Okay.
I switched two jobs, but because I knew internet,
Right.
I understood that part. I was solving it while I done open source kind of thing. People don't understand what open source is. So that was. Then my daughter was growing up. She was 1.5 years old, and we're sitting in Bhubaneswar at that point in time. From Bangalore, I moved to Bhubaneswar a couple of months later. I realized my daughter was. Yeah, Bhubaneswar. Yeah.
How I'm from Bhubaneswar. How did you?
See, 1 year I there. This guy was not willing to give me a hike, and there's other companies offering me 3x of salary.
Okay.
So do you want to take a
Where in, because I am from Bhubaneswar. Where in Bhubaneswar did you move?
Bhumikal.
Oh, okay.
Bhumikal is behind from relation. Okay, this is what you call. Big Bazaar is there in the mall, right? And
Right.
go behind and
Right.
2 or
Right.
3
Right.
kilometers from there.
Okay.
So we stayed there for about 6 months. Okay, but what happened was my wife. So the problem in that part is it's a traditional Oriya place. Nobody speaks Hindi at all. I knew Hindi. My wife had no idea on Hindi. She can speak some English, but the local people who will operate they talk only in Oriya. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So it was becoming difficult for me. My wife kind of was alone. He didn't have much network at that point, and my daughter did not have. Maybe we were looking at living in it was kind of a posh area. So my daughter was not going out. She has not met a lot of people, so she didn't
Right.
speak much early period. So wife was kind of complaining in that part. Okay, so let's move to Chennai. So we came in Chennai, and I worked for this company for about 3-4 months. It was an internet hosting company, and this time I was doing Ruby full time. From PHP I was doing, but I discovered Ruby Rails in 2004. By 2005, 2006, I came in that part. Okay. Then again, my friend had come in as well. Then we said, okay, let's do some ideas. Right? What can we do? So that's it. So we decided let's build something. So we tried few things. Two ideas was my friend's idea. Both didn't work the way which he expected. Then the third idea, which kind of worked, was I said we want to do a lot of Ruby on Rails, so let's do something on called a name. We booked a domain. That's all right. Rails Factory, Ruby on Rails, lot of factory means product production, because ideas to work on one idea for a long time means a lot of money is required, a lot of effort is required.
Right.
I said maybe I'm learning stage in some way. And maybe I don't know which one the idea. See, when you say startup, right? Same idea to pursue for many years.
Right.
I don't want to bet which one because there are so many options available for me. I got distracted. I said, let me do a service company which can be easier, right? Earn in dollars and spend in rupee. We worked in that part. So we built Rails Factory in 2006.
Right.
Two guys in an apartment. We took apartment in my own apartment building itself. We got it,
Right.
and we grew from there.
So you started Rails Factory as a side gig, or you gave up
No, no.
your?
I had a previous company when I came to Chennai. It was a US company. Okay, it's a hosting company. I don't name them. I was suggesting them some idea, and somehow my boss was offended. I don't know. He thought maybe I'm doing something inside or something, and he fired me. So I thought maybe he has some warm head. Maybe the mood is different. Maybe after a couple of hours, still he said, "No, no, you're fired." I didn't realize that. Hey, I just give you idea. You don't like the idea, critique the idea. So I said, okay, getting a job anymore won't be difficult.
Right.
And a wife and a kid, what is expensive? See, the only good part I had was I had no debt at that point of time.
Ah, okay.
So if you have zero debt, you don't have a apartment, you don't own an apartment, you don't have own a car, you don't have any loans, right?
Got
So
it.
running in 2006, if you don't have a hi-fi lifestyle, right, the cost is pretty low.
Got it.
For 5,000-6,000 was rent was about 6,000 rupees. So everything we were paying a rent for kid and food or expense another 5,000 rupees. So 10,000 rupees is enough for at that point of time because in Bangalore I was making that kind of thing. And though I said, okay, hey, we could manage, right? Let me try for a couple of months. If nothing works, getting a job is easier.
Got it.
I'm on a cool technology, everything I have. So I said, okay, let's build something, and the Rails Factory was formed. Okay, so we started as 2% team. We said, okay, let's build something for our which we like. And gradually we got some work and projects, and within 6 months we grew to about 25 people.
Wow.
So we didn't plan it that way. 2000 is a bad year for starting a startup, uh, in some sense, right? The first time I think CTS, TCS, all these companies starting their BPO divisions.
Right.
And what they did was they started hiring everybody. So earlier, CTS or TCS say, okay, we will have only computer science. You should have 80% from 10th onwards, or something like that. All kind of things done. If you have passed a degree, we'll hire you.
Right.
Right? If you done BSc, we'll hire you. That kind of thing. So we didn't get that part. So hiring was difficult. So we said, okay, hey, we hired all the unhireable. So literally, what was a Nayagam story for us. People who are arrears who can't apply, people who done correspondence course, they can apply. They're the ones who come to us. I'm saying, hey, if you have the fire in you, we can give it a shot. We'll try it out. If it works, we'll take it further. Else, we'll do. That's how we did. And one lesson I learned from computer business earlier was computer will depreciate. So I will not buy computers. Okay. So think about it. If I had to buy a computer and then hire an employee and then offer him a salary to do it, then I have my mind said, okay, I have to have 30 to 40,000 rupees to hire a computer or buy a computer. Right? I said, I'm not going to buy anymore. Let me rent it.
Right.
Rented, I have to pay just 2,000 rupees. If I instead of having, I have to think of 25,000 rupees for buying a computer. If I have 2,000 rupees, I can hire a computer, right?
Right.
That's enough for me to okay. For hiring a person, my risk was 2,000 rupees.
Right.
If this guy doesn't work out, 1 month later is how to pay it. I will figure a way to earn for that part. Okay.
Right.
So that's why we grew immediately, right? We worked with people and gradually we did.
But
And
what
our name was Rails Factory.
how did you get the projects?
No, go and sell, yeah, that's all. See, I'm not trying to sell in India. So selling in India, I still don't know how to sell in India.
Yeah, but what were you
That's
selling?
challenge.
What were you selling?
Software services, right? Any startup, you want to build a startup, we'll
Software
build
service.
technology for you.
Got it.
Tech, I will do the back end part. I've done e-commerce, payment gateway, I've done e-commerce sites, I've done a lot of other things. Okay. Come with the idea, I can solve it for you. That was, we were okay with it. Okay. And at that point, we got one client. This guy is running a new startup, and he opened my eyes. I used to think like a developer. Do something hard, and this one customer kind of opened my eyes on bigger vision. So that's how he was also the reason why we started a company.
Right.
It was supposed to be Senthil as a brand, right? Consultant, only domain was there. But he said, no, I don't want to work with freelancers or consultants. Why? I said, okay, we are cheaper for either than companies. No, company may cost you more, but I know who is responsible for it, right?
Right.
See, if you're a freelancer or consultant, either you have no work or less work, or you have too much work. There is no work-life balance when you work with a freelancer.
Right.
The guy who is busy for some other project, he will not even respond back when other older client calls you.
Right.
So he was there building a startup, and that startup, it was risky for them to work with a freelancer. I said, I will prefer to work with a service company. I said, okay, what if I become a company? Will you be interested? Yeah, I'll do it. Because I need to have, see, if Senthil was there, Senthil will be the only developer, right?
Right.
I can charge a higher billing rate, but he said, like, I need to have a developer, I need to have a designer, I need to have a tester, I need multiple skills for doing it, I need to have people for doing other things, and more developers may be required, more database. So to bring it, so I don't want to work with freelancers. So literally, it forced me to what do you call start a company. That's how the company part came. And this guy eventually became a mentor. His name is TD Balaji,
Mm.
and the startup which we first worked was a startup called Untitled. So that's the opening for us.
Right.
Before that, I would have been done as a freelancer kind of thing, or single developer again,
Right.
have a great lifestyle and everything. Okay. See, I would have made more money as a freelancer or a consultant. I could have done that. Okay. I'm not denying it. Okay, but the
Mm.
only other part benefit because you build a company is you own the asset which creates revenue, right?
Right.
So capitalism is not about people working. Capitalism about people owning the assets,
That's
either shares of company or holding the right part, and that is what generates you more revenue over a period of time.
right.
Though I also took salary. Many times we had multiple employees who had earned more than me, even when I was the CEO of the company.
Ah, okay. Because they
So it's
had.
not, hey, what am I contributing to the company? So ignore the salary part, but I held a large part of equity.
Right.
In longer term, that is more valuable to me
Right.
than. So you do something, you have expenses, everything. Those all being covered up.
Mm.
That's how the model works. So owning the means of creation of wealth, right? That's very important.
Right.
So that's the model which I did for many years. But now I've shifted that ideas like even further and say, okay, we are moving to creator economy in that sense.
Right. So yeah, why don't you tell us about how you moved into NFT space and the creator economy and what triggered that idea and why did you want to be the early adopter towards that?
Generally, I'm an early adopter. Okay, I'm good at predicting things, what might happen in future. Okay, because you've tried a lot of things and you see a potential. Okay, hey, this potential, this might happen, that might happen. You know that part. So like Rails, I thought was cool. I believed in the Rails model, and a lot of people believed it. And that's how the technology became built. Right? And I calling it my company as Rails Factory. Like you force yourself not doing anything else.
Hmm.
You do it, pursue it that part. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, if you think go to a circus kind of thing, right? If you have a safety net, right, you don't try hard.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll give you movie references. Okay, so in Batman, okay, I think Batman Returns. So there'll be a scene. He's stuck inside a deep well, right? He has to come out of it. That's what I think. And he has a rope tied in his leg, and tries jumping, and he falls, and again, right? And he has to use leap of faith is required. A lot of effort is required, right? There is no safety net. Then
Right.
you try really hard. That's what is important for it to succeed.
Right.
Again, the mindset part. Employee, okay, no, I will get a 10% hike, 20% hike. I want to work in a bigger company. I want a work life balance. That's great. For people who love to go in that part, let's do that part. Okay.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship is not easy. You make a lot of goofy mistakes. Okay. But if the mistakes don't kill you and you learn a lesson from it, probably you will not repeat the mistake and you can work through it. Okay. A
Right.
lot of option possibilities, what we worked on. So I did something. Okay, after 2014, I came out of my own startup. I was CEO. I left at that point. My friends and people are managing it. I still hold equity in the company, and it pays off my bills and everything. I tried something else. I was trying to do another startup. It didn't do that well. Then I was helping another company called Agira. They were ex my Rails Factory employees who built another company. So I was part of them, and at that point we said, okay, hey, can we identify next what is going to come? Let's work on it. We did some work on AI. We did something on GIS, maps and everything. Right? We did some work on that space, and then we did something on
Hmm.
cryptocurrency. We did something on 2017-18 period. We built a startup kind of thing. We applied for Y Combinator, everything. We did everything, but uh, so I was thinking too early for that market as well. We did all the kind of great things, but only problem was 2018 RBI announced, okay, you can't take any funding, you can't take bank accounts or get transaction via bank accounts for running a crypto exchange. We had built a crypto exchange, we had built a crypto payment gateway, we have built a swapping kind of mechanism, we have staking, we built all the capability. Some
Hmm.
was Web 2, some was Web 3, kind of thing is what we did way back. But we
Right.
couldn't launch properly, and without having funding, you can't do it. So that's what.
Right.
So I left at that point as well. So
Right.
but actual transformation for me came in during the pandemic part. So
Hmm.
I kind of predicted the pandemic. Predicted. I mean, I had some signs which might become a huge thing,
Hmm.
and I saw some news. Okay, China, something is happening in December, and in January the news was not coming. By the time Pongal hit, after Pongal in 2020, again some news was coming. Some Twitter thing is coming. China internet, what people are falling in roads and kind of thing. Is it true or false? I didn't knew it. Okay, but at
Hmm.
some point I thought, what if it is true?
Hmm.
Probably maybe low, but if it's there, work on it. Okay. So I on 26th Republic Day, right? I ordered a couple of masks online, N95, N90, and I ordered Amazon. And after ordering everything, all the temperature thermometer, everything, whatever I thought was useful. If it is a disaster scenario, I do. safeguard if I. Then so okay, I have done taking care of myself. Maybe I should talk to other friends. I reached out to a lot of my friends who have trusted me for my previous knowledge and belief, but they said, no, yeah, this is not going to happen. Then I realized maybe I'm talking to the wrong people.
Hmm.
This is too early for them to even guess what I'm saying. I said, okay, maybe I should create a social media post. I
Hmm.
realized if I post everything on this group, it will not, on my Facebook account, people will hit me. So I create a Facebook group. I did a YouTube video. I will put a video and I shared that part and said, okay, hey, if you believe in this idea, come and let's talk on it. I said, okay, lockdown will happen. It's going to happen very bad.
Hmm.
Prepare for it. So I did that. So January 26th, the group name was Pandemic. Until
Okay.
March, the pandemic was not going to declare a pandemic. UN or nobody was doing that part. We didn't. Nobody believed the lockdown will happen. All those happened, and it went in. Okay, I was doing a lot of this tracking of all this stuff. How many deaths are happening? Cases. But what happens is, even though you predicted it, all kind of thing, and you did help. I helped a couple of companies to prepare. You buy enough computers, laptop, arrange internet for home before lockdown happened. We did a lot for a lot of companies. In Chennai, whom I was talking to, I could help them do that part. And eventually, lockdown happened, and there was a surprise which people had. But no, it was not a surprise. But what happens after that is you keep helping people. Then you have to have a support group. You help people who have got into it or who are trying to come to India or leaving India.
Right.
So we do that part. Uh, it's a noble gesture. You don't want to monetize that part. But what problem was? It was a depressing thing.
Hmm.
So nearly 6 months, I was from June, July onwards. So we were doing a lot of, and nearly more and more death cases happened. The first wave kind of went down. Second wave is coming up. You become a depressed.
Right.
You are tracking death, right? You're going to messenger death. See, whatever I'm saying, it's going to happen, or if it happens, right? If I don't say it, and that doesn't make me feel better. If it happens, also doesn't make me feel better.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, what else we can do? What models are going to disrupt this? This is here, and a couple of years going to be here. So what else we could do? So I was looking at, okay, previous patterns were there, something else is there. So we analyzed a lot of areas. So I'm talking to a lot of people online. Right? We have Zoom meetings and friends and phone calls and WhatsApp because of. So thank God this pandemic did not happen in 2000s, right? So
Hmm.
there have been no internet of phone. Okay, so we had phones from 2004 onwards. After Reliance India Mobile, right? Everybody had a phone.
Hmm.
So they're doing 15-second calls or SMS they were doing. Gradually, things improved for us.
Hmm.
If it happened before 2016, right,
Hmm.
we were paying 300 rupees per GB. Now everybody's consuming 2-3 GB per day, right? That's kind of thing happened, right? We have smartphones, we have apps, we have a lot more. At least tech industry, education industry, right? Normally they don't change at all. They have adopted technology like anything.
Right.
So a lot of we were lucky to have a lot of things. Similarly,
So
people wanted to.
foundation was laid to accelerate technology.
So I'm just saying, okay, see, like digital payments, right? See, people would, there are a lot of people who will always say, okay, hey, no, there was no need for demonetization. Demonetization is the wrong step. But without demonetization and bringing in digital payments, right? Think of it, Russia, Ukraine war is going on. Uh, Google Pay, MasterCard, Visa, they have all stopped payment in Russia.
Right.
So all your debit cards can't activate it, right? The bank has the money, but these are stopped. So your card won't work. So India need to have our own platform. So luckily we have something, right? So we are seeing patterns. What might happen in future? Okay, so I have done cryptocurrency earlier. Then I was looking at, okay, what do you want to do? I want to change my perspective. I want to do different things, right? Tech part consulting, I could always do. I was doing it as well. But I said, okay, maybe I should talk to people, talk to unknown people. Like known people, if same group you're talking in, it's kind of echo chamber, right? I'm talking to same guys again and again. So can I talk to new people? So what is the new thing coming up? At that point, I discovered Clubhouse. So January
Hmm.
2020, 21. Yeah, that's something why I got access to Clubhouse. It was an iPhone only app, and there are hardly any Indians there. And another part was there was no LinkedIn, there was no Facebook connect. You can either connect it to Instagram and also to Twitter. So Twitter, I
Instagram and
was early user because we are see when we build first startup, we are competing with Facebook and Twitter when we are building a social media startup in 2006. So I had early access. I don't tweet much at all. Okay, Twitter doesn't have the can I, Facebook. I had network. A lot of friends will be there. Some tagging will happen because the profession part, LinkedIn is also active. But
right.
both my primary networks went away from it. Twitter was not much active. I will tweet or retweet much, but not post much.
Right.
Instagram. My daughters have grown up; they're teenagers, so we had a kind of a pact inside home. I will not come to Instagram. They will not come to Facebook. Okay? Don't tag each other. So I'm not.
Okay.
They're not tagged as a daughter or relationship. Or those are not that at all. So we. This is kind of a truce, and the truce has been broken. So what do you do? I said, okay, I'll connect my account. I'll have account, but I will not operate much of that. And I was doing clubhouse rooms. I did a lot of interesting stuff. So
You are
I
doing
kind of discovered my
clubhouse
voice.
clubhouse rooms to do what? To talk on
You can do
topics.
anything. See, this is a virgin territory. Na.
Hmm.
If it's a virgin territory, you can do anything. Nobody's
Were you
stopping you.
trying
What
to
you
build
can.
an audience? Were you trying to build influence? Were you trying to network? What was, or just exploring a new platform?
No. So what I was doing before that was all COVID kind of thing, like COVID and support and everything. It was
Ah,
depressing. I wanted to change my mood.
got it.
I don't do talk about that and what prophecy kind of thing. I don't want to go for anymore. Second wave is coming, nothing is coming, but I'm going to do something else. I onboarded nearly 300, 400 people as an invites. I'll arrange people to get an invite, and I said, okay, I'll get you will get a new account and you'll get an invite. I will give me one invite. I'll get one more friend to join. I will join, made a lot of people to join.
Right.
Then you talk on. See, everybody has knowledge in a lot of things. We don't talk for different reasons. Okay,
Right.
I can talk about technology. I can talk about politics. I can talk about so we can go and talk about music or stock market. We've done a lot of this stuff.
Right.
So we did a lot of rooms, and then we said, okay, hey, then they allowed us to create our own clubs. Each month you can create one or two clubs. I end up creating about 10, 15 clubs. I think two clubs have over 20,000 users each. I
Wow.
personally have over 10,000 plus followers. So that is more followers than what I have on Facebook or on LinkedIn, just by talking. And people don't see your face. I'm not that kind of face where people like just because the face is good, right? I'm not have well. So you can force people to come and okay, like you, right, or follow you. That's not available on. There is no paid advertisement available. Okay, so
Right.
you have to be present. So I was doing a lot of hours, and at that point I realized, okay, hey, the problem I want to solve. Then is see, any new guy who's running a new company, he will not think anymore. Let me build a TCS. Let me build an Infosys with 3 lakh employee, 5 lakh employee company. He's not going to think of that part. If pandemic is there, people are not going to offices, schools are not even necessary, or let's say temples are, uh, all the religious places are being closed as well, right? That has changed. If people are going to work from home, what kind of size they will? They will be building smaller teams, right? Another part, why do you want to be an employee? So fundamental questions. See, I built a company. I had a lot of employees, but why do you want to be employee? So the question is changed fundamentally for me. Okay, I don't want employees, and then it's okay. What else you can do? So then I was doing a lot of research and reading, and I realized, okay, see what we are doing now. Let's say the way education is there, right? We all talk about Macaulay system education. That is not how it started. That's not building clerk. 1820 before 1820s, there was no formal education for all, and that happened for different reasons. In 1750s onwards, they had a steam engine, which was a huge one, not as a going on tracks, but bigger machines are being built, and a factory model was being built. Okay, and they wanted to build a lot of things. So first biggest problem was if people need clothes. You're that back that you know to have people need to have clothes, right? They have to buy clothes, and that needs okay cotton, and cotton come from India. They'll send the bales of cottons to UK and there in Manchester, other places. They will make threads. First thing you to make a lot of threads, then you can weave clothes, right?
Right.
And making thread has a big challenge. Thread
Right.
is it's very weak, right? Men are not suitable for doing that part. So
Mm.
it'll keep breaking. Somebody has to go and join it, and the thread will become. And that need women.
Right.
Tech was not ready to solve everybody's every problem. So you had to use they used a lot of people to solve the problem. So initial mechanization happened at that point of time. So they
Right.
have big machine which keeps operating. Everybody has to build threads, and women need to be employed as well. So men and women both getting employed. Who will manage the kids?
Right.
So once you get that part, hey, how do you manage the kids? So they said, okay, they can't put them in a jail. So they invented a jail where they will say, get some education, and that is what we call a schooling system now.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And they don't know what to teach kids. Those they taught everything. Okay, one subject is maths and science and history. So that's how that system came. Okay, uh,
Right.
so now again the system is changing. So kids are studying from home, schooling. So everything is changing. Okay, so I'm saying, uh, what were people doing before that?
Mm.
People who were sitting in a village or a small town, they did multiple skills. If you
Mm.
ask your grandfather what he did when he was younger, then they did multiple things. I did some farming. I had some animal to rear. I will do some pottery. I will do thatching of roofs. I will climb tree. They did a lot of different things. Actually,
Mm.
we went up specialization and super specialization, and we have think, okay, I can only do this. I can't do anything. Okay, so okay, my advantage is I don't have a degree, so I'm not forced by okay, I can't do anything else. Okay,
Right.
I'm a computer engineer. I can't do anything else. I'm an electrical engineer. No, I don't have a degree, so I can go and try, learn, and figure it out. That's what I've been doing all this part of it. So I believe in creator economy. So getting paid, so you do one thing and get paid once is not very attractive beyond a point. You get a high say salary is okay, but still you're getting paid once, right? If you want a payment tomorrow, you have to work again, right? Sitting in India or any other country doesn't matter. You're earning, and that model needs to be disrupted. So who can do it? So artists need to disrupt it. Okay, so who is a creator?
Right.
The definition comes as a programmer. We can be creators. What if a product more people are using it? So that's what
Right.
startup is becoming, right? Uh, so means of creation. Okay, so then we say, okay, what else is linked to it? And what is the best? So we said, okay, can we do clubhouse recordings and can I get paid for it? I tried a few models. It does work, but it's not to the extent I would love to have it.
Right.
It won't generate revenue for me to stop doing everything else which I was doing. That's how I saw it. So okay, next, what is the next step? Can do YouTube videos, can do Instagram, TikTok, everything we are looking at, and realize everybody thing is controlled by some large corporates.
Platforms. Yeah.
So you don't. The system is built for making money for them, not for you, right? That's the whole system, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
can we change the whole model? App Store, you can build apps, 30% pay to Apple or Google, and you can do it. Yeah, you can do it, but again, promoting apps needs more skills. So what are the things you can do? Then realize, okay, can I solve a smaller problem? People, okay. Then let's be that's a different approach to the problem. And then we are discussing. Okay, I had a friend, GK Tirnavkar, so GK we call him. He's a film producer. He interviewed me when I was running my first company, right, startup, Rail Factory, and he was eventually became a film producer and was doing some films. And we were talking that part, and then again connected back the clubhouse part. Okay, let's talk on something, do something. So then we said, okay, hey, what we can do? So I said, I think I'm interested in creator economy and the NFTs kind of from March onwards. I think it's pretty cool. Can I do something in NFT and with creator economy? That's how we are doing. And he also agreed and said, what problem? We didn't exactly figure out. We like this area to solve problem, but exactly what we're doing, we were not very clear at that point. Then we said, iterate from there, right? So we incorporated a company called NFT Creator Economy Private Limited. That's a company name which is still there. Instead of solving for every creator beginning, let's say, okay, what do creators aspire for? A YouTuber or anybody, right? Everybody eventually wants, okay, hey, want to become get into movies.
Right.
I look good, yeah, I should get a movie. Everybody aspires for it. And another interesting part was this content is not given free. So movie people are mentally modeled this. For nearly 100 years, people have been paying money, buying tickets, and going to some place and watch a movie.
Right.
So monetization is there. Big corporates are not there, and can we work on it? Then we worked on a lot of iteration. What portion we can do? What, and I said, how do we reach to everybody in this space?
Right.
And the best way to reach is, okay, if you run a marketplace, right? You meet everybody, every seller, every buyer can meet it. Though we have a bigger vision, I said that's how the concept for Oracle Movies came.
Right. So Oracle movies. So, but you, what I saw as a pattern in your life is you are somebody who loves being at the cutting edge of trends. Okay, you are a pattern recognizer.
I'm a curious. I'm very curious. Okay, and generally you take bets. Right? You're like, okay, hey, this like sounds cool. I think
Right.
this is going to happen. This is going to happen. So once you, so maybe some people will call me. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'm kind of an oracle in that sense. Okay, maybe I'm predicting in something. Okay, hey, this might happen, and probably it happens.
But
So
what?
yeah, the
Yeah.
Oracle movies again. The reference would be is not so Oracle. If you watch Matrix movie, that's Oracle, right? She knows, and you are the one, right? So that kind of thing reference comes into play. And also, if you see the blockchain part, in blockchain, you need to have authenticated information, and blockchain can't talk to each other. They can't do it. So they created some secure systems where they enable information outside to come inside, right? And that is called again Oracle inside. Okay, blockchain oracles are there.
Right.
So if you want a stock market price, the market price goes up, then you should get this, or the interest rate comes up, a world war happens, and my stock should be sold, right?
Right.
Then the Oracle makes sense at that point of time. So
Got it.
that's my part. Yeah.
Yeah. So what caught my attention was India's first NFT movie
Actually,
market.
it's world's first. I don't know to brag. That's the reason we say
Is
India's
it?
first.
Ah. Okay. Okay.
So when
So
people have tried a lot of things. See, NFT is not a simple contract. You can have anything linked to it. You
so
put a copyright
exactly.
to it. Hmm.
So before, let me think. Shall we talk about NFT as a topic first before we talk about Oracle movies, or
Sure,
shall we
sure,
talk
sure.
about
NFT, we can talk about NFTs. Yes.
so let's begin with NFTs. Okay, so I completely understand the space NFTs is in. I completely understand the foundation of it, but there is also that the number of use cases that have exploded. A
Hmm.
lot of these use cases will eventually fail, and the real use cases will eventually succeed. But I wanted to know from you, since you are curious and you have already put your own bet, put your own skin in the game. Where do you see NFTs as an industry maturing in the years to come?
Um, See, there are a couple of challenges in the current industry. I'll say, uh, like we buy properties, right? So technology has not gone into all these places because
Right.
government is there. Government doesn't like change. Okay, government doesn't like competition. That's how the system has been. Okay,
Right.
enforcing contracts is difficult. We both agree on something. Okay, let's do a meeting. Okay, how do you enforce me to come on a call? You can't force me. We both agreed. You send me invite. We did like it. Both we said if I don't do, you can't enforce me.
Right.
So enforcement of contract is very important for any business industry to survive. And there are a lot of different type of contracts. What is the insurance? Is a contract. You are buying something, leasing, rental. Everything is a contract, right?
Right.
So maybe every contract. How do we enforce it? So first thing, what Bitcoin brought the concept of trusting unknown people. That's where the Bitcoin does that part. So value
Right.
of store, that only thing. Then came smart contracts, which is on Ethereum and later on Polygon and Solana and everything, right? So they brought in smart contracts. The whole blockchain concept, what Bitcoin promises, but you have can put contracts. What kind of contracts? How do you identify each other? And then you can work through it. So Web3 is where this comes into play. Okay. So Web3 currently, if you go to a site, they will say, okay, hey, sign up, register for it. Okay. They'll ask you for email address, mobile number, address, everything. Okay. Later, bigger sites came in and say, okay, no, log in with your Facebook ID or a LinkedIn ID or a Google, all kind of thing, right?
Right.
So these guys are too powerful. Like I mentioned the Ukraine war itself, right? Suddenly, like Mastercard decides, okay, we don't want to offer because US government is pushing pressure. Visa and Mastercard are disabled. Every debit card or credit card which people had is useless in Russia for now, right?
Right.
Similarly, there are a lot of say, okay, your website won't be live because .com is controlled by US government or US influence. Domain can go off. Right? What do you own?
Right.
As a country, resilience is important. Okay, so first part, so can we go between two people have a contract?
Right.
I will take a loan from you and you pay me interest. This is the smallest thing which we can implement, right? This is the interest rate. This is what I'm going to pay. What if you do not pay? How do you prove that part? So this could be a smallest contract. Then we can say, okay, hey, this thing is owned by me. This should be made public, right?
Right.
So this becomes one part of it. Can we standardize the contract? There are some contract numbers that are 721, 1155. So these
Right.
are one is fungible and non-fungible. Okay, so let's talk about fungible first, then we'll go for non-fungible. Okay, so fungible contracts, like you have money, I have money. Okay, so you have 100 rupees in your purse, and I have 100 rupees in your purse.
Right.
So both 100 rupees are equal.
Right.
At least for monetary value, it's equal. Okay, but
Right.
you may have a 100 rupee note and a single note. I may have 10 rupee note and a 10 rupee coin and a 5 rupee coin. I may have a combination of it.
Right.
But in terms of value, I can both give to a place and we can purchase things with that part. That is fungibility. Okay,
Right.
until unless you have a rare note which has numbers are in a more sequential order, which may be more valuable, or there are some people who think 786 number will be more valuable. Okay, or
Right.
signed by Manmohan Singh, the note was very valuable. Okay, if those are collectibles,
Yeah.
but fungibility is a value part. That's what a thing comes in. Okay, so there are a lot
Right.
of things in life which is fungible. Okay, currency,
Right.
everything fungible. Okay, there are non-fungible things. Now you go to a movie theater. Okay, you
Right.
buy a ticket. Okay, or you go to a, let's say, airline flight ticket. You book a ticket. Okay, there are good seats and there are bad seats.
Right.
You sit in this place, you have a bigger leg room. Now airlines are charging a higher price for those rates, right?
Right.
You don't want to sit in the middle seat. You want to sit in the
Aisle.
either window or aisle. You choose middle seat is the worst seat. Okay, or in the airline itself, the takeoff and landing, some seats are better than others.
Right.
Though everybody's traveling the same plane, there are different seats.
Right.
So purpose is served, but if you own that seat, right, you get a good seat, you are more comfortable, you have more bragging rights.
Right.
If you're going to a theater, I want watch a movie in the corner seat, right? Going with the girlfriend on the corner seat makes more sense. Maybe you don't want that, but if you're watching the movie part, I want to be the last seat in the theater. It's very important. Okay, if you're watching a stage play, front row seat is more valuable. Right, there are different cases which comes into play. Or if you're let's say go to a restaurant, right? Restaurant, I don't want a seat which is near the washroom
Right.
because it's distracting me. People keep, or in the entrance part, people keep coming and going. I want to have a cool. So I'm saying people have perception of what is interesting.
Right.
You can't force people. Okay, everybody may have a different choice.
Right.
So that is a non-fungible part, right?
Right.
You take an apartment, in a particular apartment, this particular area, wind will come well, or sunshine is important for you, right? Or vastu kind of thing. If you believe in whatever, right? So you choose same block, same apartment. Do you want to have a first floor or a ground floor? After Chennai floods, nobody wants ground floor. Though flood didn't happen for much, but people's perception of what ground floor meant has changed.
Okay.
Right. You want to live high up, okay. But next time there's something happens with the power or something else happen, okay, well, I have to come all the lift part. So people's perception will keep changing. So that is how the non-fungibility thing comes into play.
Right.
So again, there's a like, can you own certain things? So that's again a thing which I will talk about. Okay, so see what has happened in last couple of years. You do not own anything anymore. Think of this current Generation Z, right? These guys have access to Ola or Uber. Click on it, and immediately thing comes to it. You
Right.
click on a button, and suddenly Zepto will or deliver you in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Or food is being delivered, right?
Right.
Food or products you are getting. You do not think of buying a two-wheeler. You want to buy a car.
Yeah.
When we were aspiration was okay, let's buy one car. Yeah, that's what we were aspiring for. Buy a home.
Right.
See, these guys, when they grow up, why do they want to stay in the same part? Only after marriage and they're not settle in. They can live in any part, right?
Right.
If you have a global salary, you can stay any part of the world where the cost of living is good or climate is better. See,
Right.
after lockdown, right? Do you want to? What is the reason to stay in city?
Right.
Whole city is locked down. You can't go to a mall. You can't go to a theater. No, online deliveries are not happening for many months, right? What is the purpose of staying inside a city? There's no benefit for city.
Right.
Then I said, okay, hey, I can live with my parents, go there, at least have open spaces, we have more thing, less cases of that. So that's a perception which comes into play.
Right.
I'll give an example. Okay, so when we were growing up, I have bought a lot of cassettes. We will also re-record thing, right? Okay, hey, we like get a mixtape, right?
Right.
FM station will play some songs and correct time record this part, then share songs with friends. We did a lot of this part. Now that culture is gone. Okay, I build a playlist, I can share a playlist. Okay,
Right.
but do you own anything? If you don't pay a subscription, your access can be denied. If the company goes down, your access is denied, right? We had cassettes, so you don't own anything anymore.
Right.
So we are saying the fan culture is happening is okay. Hey, you own. Okay, we did a part of a team which did the Amitabh Bachchan NFT launch, right?
Right.
So buying it from Amitabh makes the photo important. Right, click a photo and save it is possible, but I bought from Amitabh. That's a rarity which comes into play. Okay, so as an investment part or as a fan part, you can do a lot of things in this space.
Right. So you're talking about fungible and non-fungible. Okay. So fungible is something that can be replaced. Okay. Say you mentioned about currency. So
No, you can
say
borrow something and can give it back. Yeah, it's not
you,
exact
you
same. I don't know exactly same coin I gave it to you return back. There is
exactly
sentiment attached to it. It's a number.
exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
NFTs are you say NFTs will remain popular because there is an unfungibility to it. That means there is an exclusivity to it, and that's why that use case of
Now, the
people who
terminology might change. We will not call it an NFT anymore. We may have a. So this is the first generation naming, right? We will have second or third generation naming, where only more acceptable name will be there. So
right.
naming might change, but the concept is going to be stay for a very long time.
Right. So people are always in historical, if you see the pattern, people have always tried to possess some rare stuff, whether it is, it could be a rare, say,
No, basically, we want to collect something which will become valuable,
over
retain the
time.
value, and we can pass it on to our future generations.
And whether or not it will be valuable, it is at least you will have the ownership of something that is rare that others don't possess. So you get a sense of
So
worthiness
think
out
of
of
it. Okay, see,
it. Right.
maybe inside cities, people who have homes here, because your grandfather somebody bought a land here, they had something, right? So they made some decisions which
Right.
made it valuable.
Right.
So
So,
that's
so in principle, I understand that okay,
right.
the non fungibility is making it attractive, and it will remain as is if we can make it work. Okay, if
Yes.
we can provide provide a seal of authenticity that this is only owned by me. However, the boom of NFTs in terms of digital art is getting diluted because digital art people are still asking whether this sudden craze is going to materialize into something meaningful or not. Okay, because people are creating some say crypto punks or people creating some digital arts, but only if you go to a marketplace, only 5% or less than 2% is actually being transacted. Rest in a pyramid,
Hmm.
rest nobody is bothered. Okay, so the point is how worthy is this, and are there is a marketplace where people create something digitally and sell something digitally, is it going to hold for long, or what are the solid prominent use cases of NFTs that will win, is the question to you.
Hmm. Okay, so uh, let's talk about real world. Okay,
Right.
so how
What are
do
the
rich
real
people
world use
show
cases that you think?
no, let's talk about how do rich people show they're rich.
Hmm.
So which car they arrive in, right? That's important for them. They other Maybach are they arriving in, or there's a Honda City or something, or coming in Uber.
Right.
That's one part of it. Okay, men don't wear much jewelry, but they wear these watches, right? So Rolex, something that shows okay, this $30,000 worth of thing. Okay, maybe they do Botox, right? Ladies, maybe, so okay, they are going to they can afford it, right?
Right.
See, the first time somebody bragged about their wealth started somewhere in 1800s somewhere. So a lot of people had land. So these guys had garden. So everybody will grow actually vegetables and food. Everybody had money and they had buildings, everything was there. But those who had well managed gardens, right, that was a bragging rights. Somebody has to keep the grass small, which is of no economic value. You are growing flowers which you're not going to pluck or sell or anyways, right? So somebody is able to spend and afford
Hmm.
that kind of lifestyle. So they were the rich ones. Okay, now things is changing in that way, right? So what kind of dress you wear? I wear a branded dress. That's again saying okay. My good kids go to this kind of school. They did the colleges. I IIT or IIM or Harvard or whatever. So they are. This is bragging worth. Right?
Right.
Earlier it was cast as something worth earlier, but now this is what is being bragged about. Right?
Right.
So in virtual also people need that.
Hmm.
So okay, I'll take one more thing. Okay, so like we are using phones like anything, smartphones. At least from 2007 onwards, the pickup has been an amazing one. Apple did change the world and that part of it. Now Androids are doing amazingly. I'm not denying Apple, Amazon, Android part of it. Okay,
Right.
but think of it. Okay, what has changed in your phone in the last couple of years?
Right.
Earlier phones have new features coming in, which made it more attractive to change. Okay, but compared to last year's phone, this year's phone, what difference is there? So camera is slightly better, sir. My
Right.
screen is resolution slightly improved. My screen size is bigger, become bigger. My
Right.
processor is faster. My battery is extra half an hour is coming. That's what we are talking about for the last couple of years. So
Right.
phone has hit its maturity level.
Right.
That's nothing major. Foldable phones is kind of as a pass. I don't think everybody will aspire. Okay, let me have a foldable phone. It's a
Right.
phone size. If you open it, it becomes an iPad. That's not what I would want. I can afford iPad. Anything which has a mechanical components, it has its own set of problems.
Right.
The phone factor, I'm happy with phone part, but phone has hit its peak. What is next after phone?
Right.
And next after phone is going to be metaverse,
Hmm.
and that is what like internet. I say internet in 2000 was different. Internet in 2010s were different. 20s is different. Now the next generation is coming. Whole internet has been flat, 2D, right?
Right.
And this is going to be 3D now.
Right.
So whole website, everything. So instead of you seeing it from one perspective, I'm seeing your video on a screen, right?
Right.
What if we are inside, we are sitting inside together and talking about thing? What is that image comes into play?
Right.
We have seen this
So,
in science fiction in lot.
right.
So I believe this is where it is going, right?
Okay. So you
So
think metaverse will accelerate the adoption of NFTs because people will brag about their possessions digitally and virtually in a virtual world,
so
right?
yeah, that's what
So
I'm saying.
you
So
will see
when people have a cyberpunk kind of thing, or let's
CryptoPunk.
say this yeah people kind of thing, or let's say this board ape yacht club kind of thing, which each of the 4,000 is worth a couple of $1 million.
Okay.
You're not buying an ape. Okay, humans have evolved from ape. We are going back to ape. Is not the story here. But
Right.
if I can afford it, it shows you who I am.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So it's a bragging right. Okay. So I
Basically,
can
bragging
afford.
right. Because you social order, social status.
Yeah.
Even in that space, if you can have that part, you are doing that part. That's what is
Got
important, right?
got it.
So in that virtual world, there is no limitation.
Hmm.
Work. Yeah. That's if that becomes that model,
Right.
crypto makes so much more sense. Your identity will be linked with your crypto, not some corporation owning your data, right? Another part would be there is no geography limitation, right?
Right. But
I'm
that
buying some physical.
but help me
You're
understand that.
buying a virtual product globally, right? So this is not a digital product. If
Hmm.
you're buying a software from America or any other country, and what if the government doesn't know? No.
Right. But
So
the
question,
rarity is artificially being created. Earlier, if it is a physical position, say there is like the Constitution of U.S. Constitution,
DAO, yeah,
there,
constitution DAO.
there is only 10 copies of the original Constitution. So that rarity is real. In digital world, you deliberately create, say we will only sell say 50 CryptoPunks,
Okay.
and we will not create anything more. So there is an artificiality to it that somebody is actually manipulating the rarity to make it more valuable. Okay,
No,
so
all I'm saying is, how does luxury goods work?
artificially create limited edition.
That's it. A watch, right?
Okay, yeah.
Only 10 people in the world will have it. 10, 100 people will have it. That's, you get a rarity, right? That's the whole thing. People buy it.
Hmm. Okay, and then you
Why can't
exchange.
people have a regular watch, right? Every watch is showing a time. No, utility part is gone. It's a bragging right. Okay, hey, I have a watch which only few people have.
Got it.
And we had this watch is a 100-year-old thing, right? Why are people buying statues? People are see the whole smuggling thing for things happen for different reasons, right? Indian statues are there in a lot of museums and nothing. People have stolen it, and the whole system upgrade because this is 1,000-year-old one. I
Got it.
brag, I have it. I
Got it.
have
So,
a what do you call
so let's talk about Oracle Movies. What is your vision behind this, and what is it that you're trying to build?
okay. So let's start with intellectual property. We discussed a lot of this part, right? So we identified okay, hey, so intellectual property has three components. One would
Which
be
property? Which
intellectual
property?
property.
Intellectual property. Okay.
Yeah. So one is patent. Okay. If you invent something through technology, something you have to invent it and you have to prove I invented it, and mine is a novel way of doing it, and nobody has exactly same thing, and you ask for exclusivity. Only I should be able to allow. That's what is called a patenting system. That is one part of it. Okay. And second is trademark. If you become brand, right? So you have okay a brand. Senthil has a brand. Okay, we all build our own personal brands. We also create. Okay, I have this. Okay, Bikanari Bhujia Wala, right? Something else is a restaurant, right? Sarana Bhavan, Starbucks. So Nike, Coca-Cola. These are all brands. So they want to associate with certain things. For food and everything, this brand is there. So each puts a brand, and they have to say okay, I am using this name for a very long time, I have a style of doing business, and people shouldn't use my name to make money out of it. So that is called trademark. So these two systems, you have to go and register with all the governments and authorities and say hey, I built the idea, invented. It takes time, and you get exclusivity for them. Patent has some timeline, 15 20 years or years you get it, and that is enough time for you to commercialize and benefit of it. Okay, that's what patenting does. Trademark, if you can keep renewing it and managing it, probably it adds a lot of value. The most valuable companies are brands, right? It's not manufacturing. Okay, maybe Apple, the brand is bigger than Apple manufacturing because manufacturing already Foxconn, right? Third part is copyrights. The copyright is the interesting part. Okay,
Third part,
copyrights.
third
18
part is what? Corporates. Copyrights. Okay.
copyrights.
Got it.
Okay, so there's a in 1897 there is a Berne Convention. Okay, they discuss certain things, what are copyrights, how copyright should be handled across the globe. So these are kind of thing which are accepted across the globe. There are some differences, but generally that is a model which goes into play. Okay, anybody who creates something is owner, absolute owner of that content. Okay, right?
Right.
Who can benefit out of it by making copies? That right to copy is determined by the owner. That's the whole principle behind copyrights. Okay,
Right.
and Bunker says you don't need to register it every time to prove it.
Hmm.
If you have enough proof that you are the one who created it, you should do it. Only
Got
if
it.
there's a complaint against each other, then come to me.
Okay.
Right? We have this Kacha Badam song which a Bengali singer was singing on street, and that been made into thing. Now, can he go and do it? He sang somewhere, somebody recorded. Who owns the copyright for it?
Right.
Will people benefit of it? So that's the story which comes into play. Okay,
Right.
so copyright until there's a violation, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So there are different type of behavior. Most content creation is happening by a single person.
Hmm.
I'm a lyricist. Okay, I'm a poet. I write my own poetry. I'm a book author. I write a book and get it published. Right.
Right.
So they get some benefits and they get some certain format. Okay. So by then 1910 or something happened, technology has improved.
Hmm.
So Edison and Co and the other people who were trying to invent how to make certain things. Okay. So
Right.
there was a camera. Camera was there. Camera could take films. make paper print, they could do. Then they thought, okay, we can take instead of film, we can do it. The second thing they invent. Then what if multiple films, photos were taken and put in a sequence? It looked like an animation.
Right.
And they said, "Look, how fast can we do it, and which will make it look real?"
Right.
And synchronizing what it was shot at. So they did a lot of invention.
Right.
The innovation kept improving. Okay, and then they had a version where people could have a black and white image animated at 18 frames per second. Later they said, okay, hey, this looks good. See, I'm saying if technologists and only engineers were sitting on it, they would have made only documentaries.
Right.
Okay, but what happened was then this idea captured the mind of artists,
Right.
drama troops. Hey, this drama I'm doing it once. I like each day I'm doing a live show. I get paid this much. What if I record it and it can be played somewhere else? I can make more money. So they record this part, and the music was not that. What do you call the silent cinema kind of thing. They created the content. Initially, they were all documentaries. Then they were projecting. So they need to have a projector, and they had to iterate how to do it, how to charge money for it, right? And they didn't have a dark screen. So normally they'll have dance floors kind of thing in those days, right? Ballrooms. They put movie after the ballroom event. So that's how that started. Then the music was not there. The music will play real time. Somebody will come and play the music along with it and say, and tell the story what is happening in the video. And gradually, so what if we can sync the video and the audio, but the film and the audio track can be added. So gradual improvement happened. Over the bit, technology can be improving. And at that point, when the law was built, they did not call it as a movie or what cinema. They had a call it cinematograph. Right. And in India, we have a cinematograph act. Every country has their own act, which is all based on old model. So their artists, talent were there who were doing troops and songs and everything. They were required, but this guy is putting in money, and they have a name for him called producer.
Right.
He's investing in equipment. He's investing in a theater, on a projection system. You need harsh light is required for them to capture a realistic view, right? So they had to invent a lot of things. The model of producer was invented.
Right.
So in Copyright Act, everything which says, okay, after death of the artist up to next 25 years, 50 years, 60 years, the rights belongs to their family. Right. But only in case of cinematograph, there are multiple people involved in it now. There's a guy who shoots it, edits it, stories there, artist is there, multiple people. One guy is made who's putting a lot of money, and that's the producer. He gets a copyright for the content for next 60 years.
Right.
This is a very important distinction. Okay. So they figured a couple of part how to make movie and film, everything they figured out. They had a concept of ticketing. They solved that part, and that is how they were making money for last 100 years.
Right.
Theatrical will create a movie, will release in multiple theaters, will make money out of it, will announce it, poster it, all kind of things they did. Okay. Then came radio and TV. Can we put this on radio? Then the new right was created. Can we put the songs of this music movie into a let's say a Doordarshan? So 90s we had a Doordarshan right, where movies were released on Doordarshan right. So gradually this kind of thing was building up, but predominant revenue was coming only from theaters, and the producer will put all his money, borrow money, and he'll make it, and then he will release the content on theater, and he will sell all his rights to somebody because he want to recoup all the investment he has made, right? So they never thought movie will not. So who will watch the movie after movie is released? Next year, who will watch the movie? So next year, movie will come, right? That is what they thought, and they sold everything outright. 60 years you can benefit. He's selling everything outright now. That is what been a problem for a very long time. Okay, so I will give you one example. Okay, so there is a movie in Tamil which came in Nayagam called Managar Kaval. It's AVM's movie. Captain Vijaykanth, artist, he acted in it. Movie was a super duper hit, right? The director was there, and he was very influential in that part. Then he made money as well. I'm not saying this guy didn't make money, okay. But what happens is the guy these are like all the artists or people in the industry are kind of gambling, right? They gamble more. Next time, let's take a bigger bet, a bigger bet. Some bets will succeed, others will fail. When they fail spectacularly, they lose everything what they have built.
Investment, you mean? Investment they will lose.
Yes. So they borrow against their home, whatever money they have, they bet, okay, I think this next movie will work. Some movies will work, some will fail. And all big productions eventually lose money, they become bankrupt or stop producing movie at all. So I can name a lot of in every industry. I can tell you. Okay, this guy died during the COVID period in front of the same AVM where he made his big movies, penniless. So most artists in history, right, they will die alone and penniless, and probably with some addiction or with regrets. I should have done something different. Right? This is how the artists die. This is not the right approach. When we're growing up, nobody says, okay, go and act in a movie, you go become an artist. We are not even taught those parts. So
Right.
once the lockdown, everything happened, right? I said, if everybody becomes a creator, what is the guarantee for them they will succeed? They'll fail, right? Some ideas will work, some may not work. So what should be there should be some perpetual income for them. So
Right.
think of it, okay, Ravi and Senthil, okay, if our basic needs are met, right, we can do something different now.
Right.
We have basic expenses. I have a home, we have an EMI to pay, I have this to have, my kids' education. If those are all taken care of and we have times available, we can be our best. We can think of solving world problem. Okay, we are solving our own personal problems or personal aspiration problem we are solving. Okay? So those need to be met. Okay? So not every movie will hit. Some movie will hit, some will flop. I'm saying theatrical generate most revenue initially, but later digital is coming up, right? So last 2 years, theaters were locked. Every language, there are hundreds of unreleased movies there.
Right.
Right? That's a problem. Okay, I'm saying theaters can't release all the movie, and until people are comfortable going back to theater, if the movie is released, movie is going to flop, right? So if the producer sell everything at a loss, what happens? He's capturing the loss and retaining it. I'm saying, hey, loss will happen, but don't sell everything. Whatever come rest of the movie, give it to me.
Right.
Don't sell it. License the rights. So that we built a marketplace. Go list your movie here. We will help you sell to different people for next 60 years. I'm giving commitment for 60 years.
But sell what?
Movie has rights. Movie has a lot of rights.
Right.
Movie is a bundle of rights. Okay, let's say. Take a movie. Okay, movie. The rights can be put in 2 or 3 categories. Okay, first part, which screen are you watching in? Big screen or small screen? Okay, so it could be a TV, it could be a phone, which we a lot of been watching on that part of a laptop or nothing, or you can watch on a big theater, right? So the screen size will determine what kind of IP license. Okay. Then where are you watching it? Are you watching it sitting in Chennai? Tamil movie in Chennai is a different part. Tamil movie in Bangalore is a different part. It's sitting in Germany is a different part. In US could be a different state, right? Are you watching in a static environment, or you're traveling on a flight? You watch it, right? Maybe there's a different right for that, right? Similarly, which language are you watching in? So Pushpa, right? Pushpa movie is the biggest state. I already mentioned that part. So Pushpa movie dubbed in, so Telugu, Hindi, everything. This movie is hit in all the languages.
Right.
So based on these 4 combination, which geography you're watching, which screen you're watching, and even for TV, right? You can have a smartphone and you're watching on OD platform or on a channel. You put all these combinations. There are hundreds of combinations available. About 30-40 rights we are aware of, and new rights are coming as well, right? So once all the rights come into play, all the part, why are you selling everything upfront? If somebody says, okay, I want to buy international rights, so hey, are you going to release in South America? No, don't buy it. I will release only in some states in Europe. Only buy for those states.
Right.
I'll give you rights for that. So what will happen? What you're not selling, licensing is available for me to sell.
So you are extending the rights which even the producers or the movie makers do not know. You're offering it in different platter,
Yeah,
and you are
we're asking them to change the mindset on how they're making business. See, anyway, movie is going to go for a loss. At current state, every movie is going to make a loss. That's how the situation is. Okay. So if you sell everything outright, probably you can close some loans, but still you want to have end up in debt.
Right.
I'm saying, hey, slightly postpone it. Okay, in a couple of years, see, a movie which may not be a hit today might have a potential in future.
Right.
Maybe sleeper hit, or maybe it's a cult movie comes into play. Some
Exactly.
future scope is
Just
there.
like books. Books also, there are some books that that do not become popular, but they become popular after
60 years is
50.
a long time. Yeah, 60 years, long time. 3 generations.
Right.
So some revenue will come out of it. Okay, I will ensure. See, my business comes in. Okay, I list on my platform. I'm going to say, okay, hey, you are the producer. This is a guy who is licensing. I'm not selling any content. Licensing this right for a couple of years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. Netflix are not buying whole movies. Right? They say, okay, give me for a couple of months, a couple of years, what I want. Let's say you are selling it to a, let's say, airline.
Right.
Airline, every month he wants a new movie. Right? I don't want to change the part. He doesn't want to have same movie for everything. Unless it's a classic, they don't care, right? So they need for a short duration period. Right?
Right.
So we will enable that part. See, big producer have a different problem. They manage, they have team, they can manage. I'm saying for small producer and medium ones whom we are targeting.
Right.
I'm saying, see, like Indians, like because of OD platform, people's taste have changed.
Right.
The guy who was watching only Tamil movie earlier, only Hindi movie now, same OD platform, they're showing, okay, another language movie. Is an award-winning movie. What are we talking about? Let me watch it.
Yeah, because
Earlier, watching on
they've been
subtitle was
popular,
difficult.
right?
Now the movie is dubbed as well, right?
Right.
I'm watching Money Heist in Tamil.
Right. Exactly.
First
And
4 seasons was available only
And
English was dubbed.
Indian regional movies, the mainstream north of India now have developed taste, which otherwise they did not being offered. Okay, but because they were locked at home for 2.5 years, they are offered, and they are now
Yes.
developed that
So
taste. Okay,
we don't have to make the same kind of formula movies anymore. Audience tastes have changed. They are watching global content as well, right? So they are okay for looking for different kind of content. They're different kind of talent. Same kind of heroes can't come back. Okay, so earlier it was only Khans, right, who were doing all the movies and big blockbusters. Now more people are getting in, right?
so
So
now you are
new.
offering with Oracle Movies, you are offering more kinds of rights, which earlier the producers, movie makers did not have. Right?
No. Okay, so what do you call it? Okay, let's take example. Okay, you can buy a watermelon,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Or tarbooj, right? Or tarbooj is watermelon, right? There's
Yeah.
one another one, vegetable they have. Like, what do you call the ring up thing about it?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Okay, we are buying a pumpkin. Okay,
Hmm.
so you are growing a pumpkin. If you sell it wholesale rate, what price you will get? X rate. Okay, so a pumpkin is weight is about 10 kgs and you get 100 rupees. Okay, if you cut the pumpkin and give it to people
Yeah.
at a retail rate, what will you get? You'll make more money.
More money. Yes.
Similar example is if you're a smoker, right? If you buy a cigarette,
Yeah.
you can buy a box for one price. Individual cigarette you can buy for slightly higher price. So
Right.
it generates more revenue for the seller.
Okay. So you're breaking that revenue model.
Breaking into smaller
Hmm.
parts and
Hmm.
thinking, hey, why are you selling in whole part? And why are you
Okay.
selling it at all?
Okay.
What if you're
So
renting it as components?
what are the smaller parts for a movie? So you are saying, okay, we could.
So theatrical is one, right?
Okay.
Theatrical, it's a theatrical in, okay, assume, okay, let's say there's a Bollywood movie being made in Mumbai and Hindi rights, Hindi theatrical, there are six or something screens which can be released. So you can give it to distributors from north and south and east. Hindi version, somebody can take it. Okay.
Right.
Dubbed version for Telugu, somebody else can do. Kannada version, Tamil, Malayalam. This is one part of it. Okay. Same movie globally can be released.
Right.
A Tamil version can go into Singapore, Malaysia, Tamil, Sri Lanka as well, or in US.
Right.
Hindi movie can also go to US.
Right.
So that's another location wise it has changed. South
So I get
America.
that. What is the
Similarly,
NFT?
another button. Let me finish it. Okay. So
Yeah.
similarly, OT platforms.
Right.
So there are OT platforms locally and globally. So that also might buy it. Satellites channels and all, they also want to buy it.
Right.
Exclusive rights or thing. So music part. So song itself is hit, and maybe you can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. The current can go to a lot of places, and all can generate revenue.
Got it. So
There are at least 50, 60 models which can say which are required for it. Yeah.
but how's so they could do it all by themselves, right? How is your platform? How is Oracle Movies making it possible for them?
See who makes more money, farmer or middleman?
Middlemen.
Why middleman? Farmer can make sell him everything himself, right? The problem is there. Okay, anybody can create a movie. Now, nobody's see technology has changed. Yeah, anybody can make a movie.
Hmm.
Put some budget, buy a camera, or you could rent a camera or get a DSLR. It's enough to shoot a movie, right? Editing can be done on a phone or a PC or a Mac. You can do it, right? Music, everything is done doable. Okay. Challenge is theatrical. Only theater is where the difficulty comes in. Okay, and again, selling part.
Right.
How people discover the content is there. See, think of it. Okay, a crew goes and makes a movie and comes back. It will take for a producer 1.5 years or 2 years to come with the movie. That's enough. So he's not constantly selling.
Hmm.
He doesn't have a store. He call. See, I think the buyers are organized now.
Hmm.
Channel already. These are all corporates. This and everybody's become a corporate. And this
Right.
guys all individuals.
Right.
Small guys. Okay. Ignore the big ones. Big ones have money to manage. Okay. They don't. He's on debt. He's borrowing money from making movie. He's borrowing at 3%, 5% per month.
Right.
His movie is delayed by 6 months or 1 year. He's going to pay more interest than actual cost of making a movie.
Right.
These guys are, we're talking about those guys and solving for them. I'm not talking, okay, hey, top movies. Top movies will come at a later stage, but smaller movies, they have a challenge. I'm saying, see, either you are a creative person or a business person.
Right.
You can't be both. You screw other end, right? If you try to be a business person, your creativity goes down. Or I'm saying a creative team is like a farmer. He creates a new content, he finishes up, and the buyer, okay, basically the movie industry act more like a cartel.
Okay. So
And
I
so
understand.
some big guy comes in, okay, hey, sir, buy my movie. Movie is average, sir. Movie is scared. You don't have a big hero. You don't have a thing. It will not sell, sir. And he will now he's desperate. He has borrowed. Okay, sir, give me some money, sir. I will take it.
Okay. So I
So he
understand
sells
your
whole
value.
rights. He is selling to one guy up front.
Got
The
it.
movie becomes a hit. He doesn't get any royalty. There's no royalty concept at all.
Hmm.
Producers or artists doesn't get it.
Got it.
So what has happened is artists realize they're not going to get any royalty from the movie. Any future movie becomes hit, they have no upside for it. What they do, they have increased the rates. So think of it. Okay, a movie costs 100 crores to make. 50 crores will go to top hero and heroine, maybe the director. Their fees is so high. So if the movie can't go to theatrical, it can't recover the money. Then this is a whole loop, right? We have to break the loop.
So I get that. So you are the intermediary, okay, and you are offering them more sources of revenue creation in a long term, okay, by breaking this down. How is this? So are you like? So how is this a technology company? Because are you being responsible for writing contracts and use cases for all
Yes.
of this? And how
So
does it happen? Yeah,
think of it as Amazon, right? So why are you going to Amazon? Because you want to buy product.
right.
Are all the product Amazon product? No, there are a lot of buyers, so there are a lot of sellers available. So this is what
Okay,
interests. Okay,
got it.
so Netflix can go and buy content. They're doing it, but when they realize they can't buy from individuals, they tied up with a couple of agencies who are buying content on their behalf,
Right.
and they have quality requirement, content requirement, everything. So there are a couple of agencies who are managing it for them. Okay, but I'm saying if they can come here, they can see a lot more new content.
Mm,
See, Netflix, I think their share price went down last couple of weeks back. Okay, and there was thing. Okay, India market is not growing fast for them. That's a statement which I think Netflix founder, I think Hastings Reeds mentioned, right?
mm,
They got the initial kind of people, and they got only like they have a particular kind of content, right? Fluffy content is what they built for a period, and that is attracting only metro crowd. A
right.
crowd which is out of metro, right? Tier 2, tier 3. They also have geo phones. They also have internet connection. They are also doing everything. They are not attracted to these content, so they are not subscribing more. Right? Because if you only go with a party group or another, they are only working buying that content.
Right.
So they have to see more variety of content. What kind of content is working for their audience,
Right.
or if they can get different kind of content, will it get different audience? So we can enable that.
Mm,
So only see they are only working with large production houses and large kind of content. Same kind of content is being packaged again and again and again. It's kind of boring beyond a point. So
right.
basically, we need varied content. So I mean, it's not going to be a market of only 2, 3 OD players. Okay, for every language there should be 5 to 10 OD platforms.
Got it.
Simple part, and they should focus on certain parts. There can be OD platforms specifically for teenagers.
Mm,
They have a different need, right? If you want to, for girls, can they be or people who are old, right? They want to watch only black and movies. How many black and movies are in OD platforms? They hardly have any. See,
mm,
subscription model currently the problem is their focus is okay. Just give them enough content so they don't unsubscribe.
right.
Delight you, satisfy you is not their whole intention at all. Okay, I'm saying
Right.
nearly 80,000 movies have been made in India, right, in last 100 years.
Right.
Less than 10,000 movies will be available on OT platforms. Another 100,000 movies are not missing.
Right.
So I'm saying today technology is not a challenge that movies is not available. I'm saying what we say is, hey, if I want to pay money and I want to watch any movie, technically it should be possible to watch any movie ever made.
Mm,
Right?
right.
What is the price? Ignore the price part. I'm saying if currently it's not the case.
Right.
Because who owns the current movie, right? So think of it, see, new movies, we all know okay, who's producer, who's creating everything, we can track them. Okay. A movie just made 20 years back, producer sold everything outright to somebody, right? The distributor got and somebody signed some contract and he got all the rights. He doesn't even know what he has sold,
Right.
right? It changed multiple hands before it hit big OD platforms.
Right.
Sun TV or Sun DTH, they have a platform. They have
Right.
Netflix or Prime, right?
Right.
Go and ask the producer who owns the movie's current right. They do not know.
You don't know.
This
I
is the
lost.
problem.
Okay.
And then there are same content being sold to multiple people also. There are a lot of see whatever real estate fraud we have seen. Every fraud happens in film industries.
Okay.
Same property sold to multiple people until you go and construct a home. Right? Then no, I also have a copy of it. Who owns
So,
the
so we,
possession?
so we can introduce smart contracts here so that the
No,
history
first
is
is
never.
visibility. So see, currently, if you want to buy a home, right, what do you do? So who is the house owner? The guy who are buying it, is he the house owner? We can verify it. How do you do it? We do a EC, right? Encumbrance certificate.
Right.
You don't even ask him permission to do it. Okay, hey, go encumbrance certificate for this particular property. Government will give last 100 years. These are hands which changed, and this is the current guy who's currently owning it.
Mm,
You don't know who the tenant is, but this guy last owned, and because government is paying a fee and registration and everything, so you can get. As of now, you have nothing on that. in film space because of copyright law, the way it was founded. Okay,
Got it.
I'm not opposed to that. Every should be copyrighted. Then it
Mm.
becomes difficult. Okay, but a content which is valued crores of rupees,
Mm.
it makes sense to cooperate it properly and
Okay.
create a uh, hierarchy of who owned it, who's owning which part of the rights.
Okay. So are you also creating this history of owning rights in terms of in your platform? Okay.
We have, okay, so we call it provenance in blockchain terms.
Right.
It's NFT right. So
Right.
how did this right come to this person?
Right.
Producer, what are the different hands that went through it? We need to have this data somewhere. And longer terms, even for historical archival purpose, it makes sense. But without that, there's no trust.
Right. So where is NFT coming here? So I understand blockchain in terms of maintaining proof, okay, and contracts,
Yes.
and rights and ownership. Where does NFT come here? I mean, why is it an NFT marketplace?
No, I can see whatever we're doing in NFT, you can do it in database as well.
Hmm.
Right? You can sell image on database as well, right? Okay,
Right.
e-commerce site, we're selling a photo, buy it. But the data can't be fudged, can't
Hmm.
fake. Right? That's the whole part. It's like, hey,
Okay.
this
Got
guy
it.
is the original producer of the content. He sold it to
Got
this many people. These guys have split this IP rights into multiple parts. See,
it. Right.
if you go for music part, right? Music, they don't buy music rights. They're buying audio rights. See the
Okay.
terminology. Okay, what does audio right include? Audio right includes a music right.
Right.
Then he will say, okay, dialogues also belong to me.
Hmm.
Background music belongs to me.
Hmm.
Music's lyrics belongs to me. Dialogue script belongs to me.
Right.
They are including all kind of things. So this is a legal parlance. We think that's a misuse of power.
Right.
So influential people or influential companies have been using this. They have unfair advantage, right? They have the power and influence.
Right.
See, a film producer doesn't have any, or actor, right? He made his movie. He doesn't have any release option. He's desperate. So people are exploiting. I think this is not a right approach. We believe when you create a future content, right? There should be no concept called film financing at all. There should be no financier for it. You believe
Hmm.
in the movie, invest in the movie. Hey, if it succeeds, succeeds, fails, fails.
Right.
Come to us. We want to change how movies are made. And not only movies, music, books, games,
So
live
are you
entertainment.
also venturing into crowdfunding or crowdsourcing for?
Uh, yeah, so we are getting into it at late, but it'll happen. Some more time will take. Okay, so what we want is, as a Web3 company, we are going to have our own tokens. We will take over the whole movie. We'll give proportionate ownership. Who owns what part of it? That kind of thing will
So
come
you
in.
mean a normal audience can also own to be part of a
Yes, yes.
movie?
So think of it. Okay, see, I'm a huge Ilayaraja music fan. Okay, or a Rahman fan. Uh,
Hmm.
I can listen to all the music, but I don't own anything out of it.
Own
So
and
can I own the
you only
copyright
own the right
content?
to listen it. Yeah.
Proportion, yeah. If we can negotiate with Ilayaraja, sir, give us half the rights of the song, or whatever rights to it, we can list it, and I can have a fractional ownership of it.
Right.
I love
Fractional
this song.
ownership
I
of
want,
NFT music. Yeah. That is
yeah.
a
So
big thing.
this song, I love this one song, and I want 1 millionth copy is also okay with me. But I believe
Right.
the people are going to, this song is going to be there. See, next 60 years, the song is going to play. Right? We believe in this part. People
Right.
who are of our generation will love this song. We know that part. At some point, this song is going to keep generating revenue for the IP rights owner.
So for the fractional owner, okay. So
No,
not
no,
just
every owner.
yeah,
So
yeah.
copyright is generating revenue for them, and you can own it. So we can proportionally we can give you some revenue for that.
Right.
See, anybody who has invested in, let's say, REITs, right, real estate investment trust, or infrastructure investment trust. So what you're buying, a mall is there or a IT park is there. You are buying shares of it.
Shares of it. Okay.
So building itself is made into shares. Okay, this is my square feet. This is a rental revenue comes in, and next 50 years, 100 the building is going to be. You are getting an advantage out of it.
Right. Okay.
So
So
instead of
the
making a movie, I see everybody doesn't need to go and make movies. Okay, so what we can say is, sorry, I think background music is happening. So right,
okay.
so you can own. See, if this is alternate investment strategy. If you're investing in stocks and crypto, different part, but owning part makes more sense, right?
Makes more sense. Yeah.
So you're betting. If you want to see, you want to de-risk yourself. Even if you're a music director who are always you own your own songs, okay. But
Mm,
the de-risking strategy will be, hey, I will sell half my rights and I'll buy upcoming artists' songs as well to some extent, right? And that will generate more revenue for me
okay.
in future.
Okay.
That's the whole part,
Right.
right?
So you have so this can actually translate into multiple ideas in this platform. And what stage is Oracle Movies now? Like what are your first?
We have
So there is
signed up
there is a lot
hundreds
that
of
you can
movies.
Oh, you're signing up.
We have
Okay.
signed up hundreds of movies. Okay, we're going to make official announcements soon.
Yeah.
So we are launched officially. The website was launched on February 6th in Tamil. So English audience, we have Chennai audience, we have given it. The film industry should know that we exist, right? February 14th on Valentine's Day, we did it in Hyderabad. So Andhra producers know about us. We did 3 or 4 days back. We did for in Malayalam industry. So the producers already know about us. Next couple of weeks we'll be doing it for Canada and Baroda as well, and then we'll go to Southeast Asia and then gradually go to globe. There are a
But
lot of
this is
movies we can acquire.
no, but this is on the producer side. You also need to generate on a marketplace buyer side also, no?
Yes, buyers is actually easy. Okay, they are all corporates. Give them a use case and they see a value in it. We have strategy for it. Okay, so there are multiple OT platforms coming in this space. So OT platform always need new content.
Mm.
Producer organizing is one of the difficult challenges. Okay, so globally all the OT platforms are available. Okay, so their solution is a different way. Okay, I am not signing contract one by one.
Mm.
So producer to sign one contract. You have made one movie, I'll buy one movie, you're listing it, processing it, verifying it. Okay, producer acquiring part is OT platform. They will have a
Mm.
terms, they have standardized terms, and this guy needs every week he wants a new movie to come. Every Friday he wants to release a new movie. Then he must have dubbed content also is okay with him. Per year he's going to hundreds of movies acquiring. If you become a partner with them, I'm signing 100 movie, 200 movie deals with these OT platforms.
Okay. And it reduces the burden on both sides. So they don't have to individually go and talk to the producers or the movie owner
And
rights.
it's not very efficient.
Efficient. Okay.
Somebody
So
can standardize it. Okay, hey, they will not give you a genre. No, my movie is very good, sir. You they see anybody will say his movie is great. Somebody
but
has to
you
give and give a feedback.
but you will not get rid of negotiation, no? Because the negotiations will also happen. How will you
It's a
smoothen
matter of time. See, initial phase once people are kind of coming with new idea, right? They will go do all that part. But over the period, it will become standardized in some way. They'll have
standardized?
AI, machine learning, kind of thing. Will say, okay, hey, this genre movie, this category, this much money would have made. This movie did this much in theatrical, so probably this is a value should come from OTA channels. We'll have some past data. Currently, there's hardly any data in India, which people trust.
So if you look at your roadmap, I think the first one, what makes sense with this conversation is connect OTT to movies database. Okay. And
All the
then
and only different thing is I'm not limiting myself to only to India. So those signing up with the Indian movies to begin with, we are not limiting ourselves to India. We can sell
okay.
the content globally. Once we say okay, hey, this movie can be dubbed in a different language. Okay, so we are
Uh,
trying to buyers globally now. Already we have multiple countries. We think again probably will start travel soon. And once film festivals start operating globally, we'll be traveling. We'll put a stall in every film festival and go meet. And we'll buy international content to India, so India also get enriched in some way. Similar, India's soft power need to improve. So Indian content. I'm not saying Bollywood content. I'm saying Indian movie content. Anyway, movie is dubbed. Doesn't matter which language you speak in India.
so
We
help
can
me
take
talk
it to.
about status quo. Status quo. How is it happening now? How are films being dubbed? How are these players meeting? So you are creating this platform, but what is status quo? How is it happening today?
Okay, let's talk about only I'll talk about dubbing movies. Okay, let's say
Yeah.
there's a Hindi movie. Okay, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada. Across these 5 languages, they dub language movies happens. Okay, this market itself is 2,000 crores market.
Dubbing.
2,000 crores dubbing
Mm,
market.
mm,
Okay, some channels need some content. Odd them also they don't have a content. Some movie will keep running. Okay, remakes a different story. I mean, dubbing is this itself is this bigger market. Okay,
mm,
but as a new guy who wants to come into this industry sitting in Mumbai, how does he know that a movie is being made in Tamil or in Telugu?
mm,
So this is currently there are only some. See, this is not a public data. This is proprietary data.
mm,
You should know somebody. I know this producer's sons. This guy is no. That's why so the way people buy stocks right now, and they
mm.
get tips. So they have a network, and they are the ones who are able to do it. If we make the information publicly available, more people have it. Right? Some random coin, why is the value going up? They have unfair advantage. Some people, okay. I'm saying only couple of connected people have in the industry, or they know the brokers, or they have other influence to get those movies. They're the ones who are doing it now.
Right. You're
If they
right.
make it available, more people can come into the part, right?
I
If
see.
stock market only, you need to be okay. Some stockbroker's cousin to be into the stock market, and then the market is not growing.
So
If
you're
you make it other
democratizing.
democratize literally. Okay, so whole movies. I'm not expecting people, a normal guy, to buy okay movie. You don't have a means to distribute it or even demonstrate. Okay, but if more people have access to it, they are. we can get interesting kind of content.
Hmm.
I want more market participants. The more
That's.
people participate, right, it improves the rates which get right.
I was
See,
I was
so
looking
same
on
thing.
your website.
First part, see, a farmer selling in his farm and some guy buying, he buy it at the lowest cost, and he takes all the profits, right?
Hmm.
But a farmer is allowed to put his store on a market, and market will determine, right, what price is available, how many
Hmm.
movies are available, what content is available. People can choose what is available, and if the
Hmm.
thing is good, multiple people compete.
Right.
So you have
Uh,
only one option to buy or not buy. That's the only option you have. Then what do you do? You don't have any control over it.
Got it. So when you decided to get into this, how was your knowledge about this movie distribution rights and stuff like that? Where did you, so
So
you talked
okay, so
about the
entry into the industry is difficult.
hmm, entry into any new industry.
Industry. Okay, see, and I watch a lot of movies. Okay, as a fan, I can go and meet celebrities in the events or something else. They can do it. Okay, but if I say, okay, I'm here to do business with you, they will not trust you. You're outsider. So that will happen for me. I'm not denying. Okay, but what I did was my co-founder is a film producer that we got early access to his part,
Got
and
it.
we've been outside. We've been watching how the industry operates for many years, and he's been inside the industry. Had done a couple of movies. He has distributed a couple of movies, so we had that
Okay.
part. Then we also partnered. Okay, so though we are going to disrupt this industry in some way, but we said, okay, whom are the people who want to partner with? So we have partnered with people who have been doing movie distribution or movie what you call consulting agents. We are identifying these people. We are working with them. So people are helping us to succeed.
Right.
They understand our vision, and they're kind of partnering for us. So we have people who are specifically for Tamil Nadu and Hyderabad, in Bangalore and Kerala language. So we were doing that part, and only Bollywood is still pending for us.
Right.
We'll be setting up operations there. Once we have a right person for it, we'll be
Got it.
operating
Have
from
you
that.
been creating NFT content for movies already? When I
No,
say NFTs, I mean minting NFTs already for like, say, a dialogue or an action scene and stuff like that.
those
Which
are easier ones. There are a lot of people into that space. So we did
okay, those are easy.
a lot of photos. I own a lot of NFTs on that space as well. So we are buying some of the rights, and we'll be selling them. Our market will open up soon as well. But the bigger one is okay. So you're talking about dialogue. I'm saying a whole movie is available for purchase. You
Oh,
can have
okay, got
money,
it,
go and buy that as well, right? So
got it.
this, see, this is not some random dialogue or photo which is becoming valuable. The content itself was made with several crore rupees.
Hmm.
My content has inherent value.
Ah, got
This
it,
can generate revenue for you, right? That's
got it, got it, got it.
so you
Excellent.
buying a gold stamp is different. Okay, buying a gold bar is a very different value, right? So my content itself inherent has is an inherent value, and
Yes,
this at least government authorizes me to benefit for next 60 years.
right.
I'm organizing it on behalf of the current producer, but on longer term, I don't even believe there should be a producers. Okay, there should be kind of a DAO, right? Or it should be a startup. Each movie is a startup,
Right.
and different people have different stake in what they're putting in. And people who want to put in finance, they don't come as a financier, okay, as giving a loan and trying to be taking all that part. Be an investor. So we want
Hmm.
to define something about the film investor, and those who want to do it, or crowdfunding will all happen at that point of time, and where fans can have it.
Got it, got it. I saw two names, Guardian Link and Beyond Life. How, so could you help me understand this ecosystem?
Okay, so we two parts. Okay, so Beyond Life is the company or startup which did the Amitabh Bachchan NFT launch.
Okay.
So Beyond Life is okay. This is a partnership between two companies. Guardian Link is one of them, which provide the technology. Okay,
What do you
another
mean by
part.
what do you mean by Amitabh Bachchan NFT launch? So did Amitabh Bachchan
Yes,
sell all
yes.
his past work in NFTs?
All his past. So we identified. Okay, so first thing was we had discussion something around June July period. How do we legitimize? See, cryptocurrency has a bad name in India. At least the government says, okay, it can be used for terrorism, it can be used for thing. A lot of people are cheating it. Okay, we don't know to talk about cryptocurrency at all. We said NFT is an asset, right? People are buying posters and T-shirts and everything. Something similar is what you're buying digitally. Okay, so who's the right person who can advertise and work on it? That's how Amitabh Bachchan was chosen. He need to be convinced. We all that part done, and later, okay, said, and we promoted properly. So making money was important, not denying that part, but more people should own it. Only couple of high value content thing where only rich people will buy. That was not the intention. We said we
Hmm.
can have buy it in India. India should be able to afford it. So that some choices were made on that part. So we did about nearly 10,000 NFTs were minted.
So what
Some were high priced ones.
what was the what was the NFT? Like, was it image? Was it a scene? Was it a dialogue?
Okay, if you want, I can share a screen. Okay,
Okay.
so there are a lot of photos. Maybe you missed the whole part. Maybe you're not in India at that point.
Okay.
November 26th, I think, where the drop initially happened.
Right.
Amitabh's favorite movie posters, his punks, all were made into NFTs. Okay, so
I see.
some were high priced ones, which were gone into bidding part, where when price went up by 10-20x in a couple of days happened.
Got
But
it.
we also dropped a lot of NFTs at flat price point, $10 equivalent. That's about 700-800 rupees price point. We did a lot of NFTs,
Got it.
and those were sold within a minute. Nearly 10,000 NFTs selling. Think of it, right?
I see.
So a lot of people, and we didn't want one guy to go and corner all the NFTs. We want more fans to acquire it. So we
Ah, okay.
built in a particular forms.
Okay. Got
So
it.
Guardian Link is a company which built the technology. It's a Chennai-based tech startup run by uh, Ramkumar Subramaniam, Arjun Reddy, and Kamesh Elangovan. So
Right.
these three are the co-founders. They are friends of us.
Right.
Also, one of the guys is related to me.
Right.
So we know them for a very long time. Okay, so we work with them on the digital marketing promotions. So they are doing on a lot of different areas, and now they got fund as well. So they raised about 100 crores funding after the drop happened.
Got it.
So they did. So we are partnering with them. So we are using licensing their platform to
Right.
launch our service as well. So we will be launching it at a later date. So we
Got it.
have a April 15th timeline to launch our next phase of our applications. Right.
Excellent. Cool. I think this was a very, very exhaustive conversation that I got to learn a lot from you. And talking to you, it's very clear that you have
Right. No,
exhaustive knowledge.
yes. Yes.
You grasp an industry, and you really, really, I mean, your thirst and your curiosity for knowledge is how it is translating into new
Thanks.
opportunities.
Okay, you are going to end this part. I understand that part, but I'm saying let me add. Okay, see,
Okay.
what I'm saying is we are not doing enough. That's the whole part which I believe. Okay, so the industry is catering to only these five languages.
Mm.
So that's Bollywood, Collywood, Tollywood, Sandalwood, and Mollywood. And these five are doing 92% of revenue. But there are more languages in India. Okay, but government itself is giving out 15, 18 languages there.
Like Odisha.
120 dialects are available. Okay, so we are saying we are not catering to all yet. We need to do more. I've lived in Orissa. Okay, so Oriya movies are there. They
Mm.
have a OTVs there. They have, their Oriya song is available. Similarly, Punjabi is there. Then Bengali,
Right.
Assamese, Manipuri, and
Right.
more language. And some languages not much movies. I mean, like Tulu is there, not much. But okay. If the content is available, platform is available, money is transparently, if people know what is the actual deal, and if it's transparent and they will not be cheated, right? More people will come into this space. See,
Mm.
why can't Pushpa be dubbed into Oriya, Bengali, Bhojpuri, Rajasthani, Haryanvi, Assamese, Nagaland? A lot of other dialects also can be done, right?
Massive opportunity. Yeah.
No, no, this may not generate a lot of revenue like Hindi movers done it,
Yeah.
but
But
I'm
it's a
saying
long tail.
you
Long
have to
tail.
seed. You have to seed this part. And
Mm.
similarly, if a good Oriya movie is there, which is worthy of it, can national award, if you can think of that story instead of
Right.
going local story, if the story is good enough, can it be dubbed in other languages?
Mm.
See, buying one movie, if you can dub it in five languages, right, then I can convince Netflix or Prime to buy this movie from you, right?
Right.
License it for that part. Or if the content is world class content, why can't any? I will stop using the word Hindi, Tamil. I'm saying if we make world class movie, if it can be dubbed and subtitled, why can't we reach to 190 countries in the world?
Right.
Right. Each country has multiple OTT platforms. We could
Right.
be able to reach out. That's what the intention is. That's the reason we are a tech company. If I want
Got
to
it.
only monetize for myself, I can do something other ways of doing it. Okay, but if you be a tech company, bring in more transparency and more people can access to it,
Right.
we can reach to a lot of people. Similarly, I want to bring all interested content to India with
Right.
Indian language. I'll give example. I have teenage daughters, right? They study in a good school, and they got introduced to Korean movies or Korean web series pretty early, right?
Right.
They watched BTS. We went to theater for watching those BTS live performance, right? So we've done that part. But I'm saying, uh, why are other kids not watching Korean series? It's not they don't get it.
Right.
See, the language is different. They don't want to read subtitles to do it. If the
Right.
content is dubbed in their language,
Right.
that can be. We can have a like Korean, Japanese kind of or anime kind of thing. Right? If we can bring that content into dub language, which people can understand,
Understand.
new generation can be exposed to good quality content.
Right.
And
Right.
similarly, if we have good Indian content, can be exposed to globally, right? We
Right.
can. This is a huge opportunity. It's a multi-trillion dollar opportunity.
So removing constraints and creating a equal opportunity, level playing field of any kind of content to any kind of customer is not there yet, and you see a
Yeah,
massive
so
gap there.
like we had independent music, right? Why can't there be independent cinema which can live making good content, right? Currently we have limited ourselves because only this kind of format can come into theater. This is what can come to channels, right? If we can open up the opportunity, see, I don't want people, okay, who are watching this or at homes, right, should aspire, okay, I will want to be employee of this company. That
Mhm.
is pass.
Right.
Can you create, what can you create? You want to create music, books, content, or into program, what do you do? Right, you create and it should generate revenue multiple times over a period of time.
Got
That's
it.
a vision which we have. That's a
Excellent.
creator economy which we believe in.
I mean, also it's evident by the way I interviewed. So yesterday I interviewed another entrepreneur. He is the founder of Backstage Army, and he is also catering to creators economy. That means what he's creating is a platform where creators can deeply engage with their fans, which is not happening because today fans is a crowd that are liking, commenting, but they don't have faces to it. So what he's
Sure.
creating is an intimate
uh,
platform where they can
Ravi, please introduce me to him as well. Okay, so I didn't talk about anything about a fan at all. So we are doing something big on fan space
is
and
it
also
okay.
metaverse. Yes, that's our
Okay.
next round funding will be based on those kind of things, right?
Okay, no, no,
Current
he's
round is based
the
on what you're
second
doing in
time.
marketplace. Yeah.
He's a second time founder. His company is Backstage.army. He sold his first company, Gaze Metrics, for several $1 million, and he achieved his financial freedom.
What's his
Now
name?
his name is Deobrat Singh. Okay, if you go to
Please do
Backstage,
introduce. So please do
I,
introduction. Right?
I, I will
We love
introduce.
to work with them. So anybody in this space, I'm not considering anybody as a competitor. Yeah. See, this is a huge opportunity. A lot more need to be done.
Right.
So we need to talk to everybody in this space. Right.
Yeah, no, you talked about BTS. We also talked about BTS yesterday, and he said how BTS became a public company, and it is because of his solid fan base. Whenever they come up with the music, and I told him that Telugu film industry is also like that, or Tamil film industry is also like that. Irrespective of the merit of the film, the fan makes the first day a blockbuster. No? So how can he connect the fans and the creators more solidly? So let me introduce
Sure.
to him, and then that's how it will be.
We'll do that.
Senthil, thank you so much for a long
Thanks, buddy.
conversation.
Sure.
Okay, and thanks for giving your Sunday to
Yeah.
us. But it was great learning from you, and let's stay connected. See you around.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.